Many thanks for watching Wednesday Debate Live with Tagreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Well, tonight we'll be talking in preparation for COP27, how technology can help fight climate change. With the participation of nearly 30,000 delegates and more than 90 heads of state and governments, COP27 will convene in Sharm el-Sheikh from the 6th up till the 18th of November, tackling definitely the most difficult challenges that face the international gathering, along with issues related to the climate transition. Technology is definitely vital in building the foundation for sustainable development, and in that regard and in addressing the progressive impacts of climate change. Definitely now there is an urgent need in order to adopt the innovative approaches that integrate both technology as well as nature and enhance the resilience development. So many climate targets, it is from vision to implementation, COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and we have all the honor and pleasure of having with us tonight Dr. Mohamed Khollef, Innovation and Digital Transformation Consultant. Thank you so much, Dr. Khollef, for being here.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Thank you. And talking about climate change and innovation and technology definitely is going to take more than one important point, and we will read into the role of technology in fighting climate change with Dr. Khollef. But first, let's have a look at the top stories of the day. The President Sisi sent a message to the Arab people during his participation in the Arab Summit in Algeria. The President called on the Arab people to trust the Arab nation as it has a deep-rooted history as well as extended civilizational contribution. President Sisi noted that the Arab nation still possesses the necessary characteristics for a more stable and prosperous future. The head of state pointed out that Egypt will always bear in mind the cohesion and the protection of the Arab nation. The president had further said that Egypt will always present a sense of support to the Arab people and will keep its doors open to all Arabs in order to defend their present and the future of the next generations. So we're back to the main topic. We're talking climate change and technology tonight. My dear guest is distinctive Professor Dr. Mohamed Khollef, who is Innovation and Digital Transformation Consultant. The upcoming report is going to tackle fighting climate change and how it is actually how Egypt is promoting climate action goals through this important edition of COP27. Let's watch.
As part of Egypt's preparations to host the 2022 UN Climate Change Conference, COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has directed the government to bolster national programs that promote climate action goals and to strengthen cooperation with international partners to benefit from models that can help the country's own agenda. These goals, according to a presidential statement, are mainly represented in implementing the climate pledges and commitments, as well as transforming them into actual efforts and projects on the ground, within the framework of the green transformation approach and in accordance with relevant Egyptian national strategies. In this regard, COP27 prioritizes enhancing the regional and local dimensions of climate action through two unprecedented initiatives. The first initiative is about the 5 regional roundtables that have been coordinated with the UN and resulted in 400 regional projects all over the world, which 50 of them will be showcased in Sharm el-Sheikh to start the actual implementation. The second initiative is the National Initiative for Smart Green Projects, launched by the Egyptian government, which will be presented in COP27 as a model for localizing development and climate action. Egypt has also initiated serious steps to apply a sustainable development model that aims for government-funded green projects to reach 50% by 2025 and 100% by 2030. As part of the preparations for the COP27, the Ministries of International Cooperation, Environment, Information and Communication Technology launched the Climate Tech Run 2022 international competition, which targets tech-based startups that work in the field of climate across Africa and around the world. It is also dedicated to digital art professionals with an aim of stimulating and encouraging innovative and sustainable digital solutions to reinforce climate action, as well as addressing the socio-economic repercussions resulting from climate change. It's worth mentioning that ahead of COP27, Egypt has launched major environmental projects and climate-focused programs as part of its transition towards a green economy, as Egypt has vowed to step up efforts to implement the Paris Agreement on climate change and turn international climate pledges into actions on the ground during the conference.
Definitely, we're hoping to turn climate pledges into action, and Egypt is going during this important forum to speak also the voice of Africa and to urge the countries in order to fulfill their pledges vis-a-vis financing the story of climate or finance pledges. So before delving on to this important story of the COP27 and climate change, back to the main story of the day and His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi sending a message to the Arab people during his participation in the Arab Summit in Algeria. The President earlier in the day called on the Arab people to trust the Arab nation that has a deep-rooted history and definitely extended civilizational contribution. Honored to have with us Dr. Sherif Amir, Professor of International Relations. Dr. Amir, thank you so much for joining Wednesday Debate Live.
Thank you for having me.
What sort of messages that you have read earlier in the day, Professor Amir, talking about the President actually pointed that Egypt will always bear in mind the cohesion and the protection of the Arab nation, and this is mainly, of course, among the top priorities of the state.
Well, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi gave a new alert message to the people of the Arab nation, is that now that we are facing all these changes and turmoil in the whole world, you have to be aware as Arab nations that there are some cornerstones of civilizations among the Arab states. And Egypt is the main cornerstone of this civilization. And he, as the president of the biggest Arab country, and with this large history, he has the authority to tell them that you have to be aware that all what took place lately was aimed to destroy what has just been built among all these years. Now we are showing the world, and the president also had during many years of the conferences with the young people of the Arab world, telling them that we are rebuilding again our economies. We are rebuilding again our history. Nothing is too late. And I think that the president who is from the new generation, he's telling also the Arab leaders, you have to listen to your young people. You have to work with them, because the Arab world is rich with oil, rich with all its resources and human force also. So the president was giving today a clear message that you have to use your potential. You have to work together inside your own country, because we are the hub of civilization. Egypt also is the hub of this civilization, as President Sisi promised since the first day in office, that the whole world will see the day that we will be again the hub of civilization. Of course, we have all difficulties. We are seeing now how Europe is suffering economically, and how the great forces in the world are now facing all these difficulties. And this is a message also to the people in the Arab world that it happens everywhere. It's not because we are always condemned to live into agony. No, it happens in the history of nations. So the president was very clear that it's never too late to work together. It's never too late to rebuild.
Yes. His Excellency, the President, also was very clear and pinpointed the fact that Egypt will always be there, will always be present to support the Arab causes and the Arab people, and will open its doors to all the Arabs to defend their present, and also talked about the future of the coming generations. So as you said, Professor Amir, it's very important to pay attention to the youth, the Arab youth, and also listening to them, because we have a great model actually in Egypt, namely the World Youth Forum, where His Excellency definitely has provided a great example in that respect. You find the youth talking to the president without any sort of barriers, with full transparency, asking questions and more. So how do you see His Excellency pinpointing the future of the next generations in his speech, and also definitely also one of the core pillars of Egypt's foreign policy, which is supporting Arab causes and keeping our door open to all Arabs, defending their present and the future?
Well, as you said, these conferences will be used. It was without any barriers, and it was direct live on TV, and it was never seen before in the history of the Arab world, even in the Middle East. We never heard of a president who asked the youth to talk, to speak, to express their anxiety, their concern. It never happened, unfortunately, before, but now it happens. And I think now that the president is talking clearly in front of all the Arab leaders, he's telling the youth again that you have the say. You will decide the future of you or your own countries. It is not the future, with all our respect to our friends in Europe, but the future is not in the West. It's not in Europe. It's not. It's in all your countries. You have the resources. You have also the responsibility. You're accountable as the leaders are accountable. You're accountable towards your own country. Don't listen to those who are trying to destabilize your future, to make you hate your own country and work against it. No, just understand that there are difficulties. You have to work with the government. We all know that there are barriers. We all know that there is heritage of many difficulties for the youth, but we cannot give up. And I think that the president, when he gave the speech in front of the Arab leaders, he gave it also as a sign for them, urging them to do the same thing, to listen to their own youth, to give them a place, as we have done here in Egypt. And for example, the conferences that we are now hosting in Egypt, like the COP27 and others, we are telling the world that we are going along with technology, we're going along with the new green energy. We are not behind the scenes. No, we are in the scene itself.
Yes.
So it's important that when President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gives such a message, it's very important not to take it as it's just a political message for the leaders in a summit. No, it's also for the people, and not only the people of Egypt, but the whole Arab world.
Right. I thank you so much, Professor Dr. Sharif Amir, Professor of International Relations, for joining us on Nile TV International and highlighting His Excellency, the Head of State's participation in the Arab Summit in Algeria. Back to you, Dr. Khollef, and a week away from COP27, the top-notch story that is making now headlines definitely all around the world in Sharm, let me say. So, turning climate pledges into actions, this is considered as the main goal and the main motto, and Egypt is going to speak for Africa's aspirations. How do you see the role of technology in combating climate change. How far is technology co-relevant to this important story?
Yeah. Let's tackle this subject from the different perspectives. First of all, if we are talking about climate change, the scientific community suggests that 45% decrease in the global emissions by a year 2030 will allow us to avoid devastating impacts of climate change, including storms, heat waves, etc. And this goal, we only achieved 1% of this 45% by now, which is very critical percentage, and we need to have all nations sitting side by side to talk about it and how to solve this problem. On the other hand, the World Economic Forum says that applying the digital technology and digital innovation will allow us to decrease this global emission by 15%, which is 1/3 the target, which is huge.
Yes.
That's why technology is totally relevant to this subject, and we have to include it in our vision for fighting the climate change. That's why the Egyptian government has launched the Smart Green Projects initiative, and it is all over the country with so many people, so many startups, so many entrepreneurs and leaders participating to present ideas and projects to fight the climate change by our hands, by the Egyptian technologies.
Yes.
And this is really crucial, and I see it very promising. However, we need to do more. We need to have collaboration between the developed countries and the less developed countries to transfer technology. Because originally, most of these climate change technologies and digital transformation applications are originated from the developed countries, not from the less developed. That's why, and we have big target. We have 45% to achieve by year 2030. That's why we need the collaboration of all countries. That's why COP27 is playing a great role in this regard. Back to what we are saying, the 45% or the climate change is impacting the world weather, etc. But it also is impacting the economic conditions. Because it is forecasted that by year 2050 we will have reduction in global economy by 11 to 14%, which accounts for $23 trillion, which is totally related to climate change. Climate change is critical. And on the other hand, the digital transformation and the digital technologies can play this role to reduce the impact of the climate change.
Yes, as we can see together and as we watch together in the window, the program and the accompanying videos, we can notice, of course, here the role of artificial intelligence. We can see robotics and robots, and this is the future, you know. So in what way do you think robotics can definitely take part in this sense of transformation and fighting climate change issues?
A lot of examples are related to robotics, artificial intelligence, etc. One example which is related to the agriculture. The United Nations says that we need to produce more, 70% food more, on 5% of the land increase, not more than 5% by year 2050, which means that we must have better agriculture, better management of the resources, water resources, etc. Artificial intelligence and digital transformation can make it happen. By using artificial intelligence, we can properly manage lands more efficiently and more effectively to achieve the targets we need.
Yeah.
Robots, for example, can be used as a tool to clean up all solar cells. You know, solar cells in a dusty weather, they can be covered with dust, and its capability to produce power can be reduced or go down. That's why robots can play this role by automatically cleaning the solar cells to make sure it is producing the power aimed. On the other hand, if we are talking about lands and planting trees, robots can be used for planting plantations, and also for fisheries. Robots can be used to make sure the oxygen levels in fisheries is up to the level. All these examples.
So you see, we have many examples. I mean,
we have so many examples that we can use robots, artificial intelligence, digital applications to support the fight against the climate change.
Yeah. Egypt is working definitely to adopt a comprehensive vision with the main aim of towards globally applicable solutions and commitments on the climate challenges. So modern technology definitely is, as we were speaking, we said that we need to include this in the different stories that we discuss concerning climate change. So how can we include the technological factor in that respect?
We need to have some sort of collaboration between all the stakeholders working on climate change case. We need to have the input of young people, people with ideas, entrepreneurs, startups. We need the collaboration with the academia. We need the collaboration with the international organizations who are working in multi-countries, and they have impact, and they can see and give technical support to people. We need to have the collaboration of business people, because climate change can be seen as an opportunity for business, and
rather than a challenge.
Exactly.
I mean, out of the challenge we can create opportunities.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation for everyone. People who own the technology and people who will use the technology. Both can make economic impact from mitigation. Exactly. And this is very important aspects that we need to look at, because it is the climate change is classically seen as only a challenge. It is a challenge and opportunity at the same time, and we have to include this in our mindset when we are dealing with the problem. We need also to include regional efforts. That's why Egypt and the COP27 and the collaboration with the Arab countries is very important for both for Egypt and for everyone. We need the cost of implementing or generating new technologies is expensive. That's why we have to share the cost.
That's why there is a collaboration.
Exactly.
Everybody should be like hands-on.
Exactly, and this is the concept of technology transfer. So the more developed countries, they can share the technology, and they can gain profits. So they can have more profits, and they can help others.
So you're giving them incentives.
Exactly.
Dr.
Exactly.
To share and to be hands-on, I mean.
And finding this business model is part of the digitalization. Because digitalization at the end is not about converting or replicating a current service or application or production into the digital format. But digital transformation is more of disrupting industries, creating new business models, creating new added value to community and for industries at large.
Yes, definitely. So, as Dr. Khollef said, that we are moving from vision to implementation. So definitely this important forum, this important conference is going to shed light on opportunities where all the different partners can work together in order to fight climate change. And we have one goal. Technology today is vital in building the foundation of sustainable development. We'll be talking technology and sustainability right after this break.
إنني وإذ أتطلع إلى استقبالكم من قمة المناخ 27 التي تستضيفها مصر في شرم الشيخ.
Dr. Khollef, bearing into consideration and into account the needs of the developing countries and the potential of the developed ones, how can we make out of this equation success? I mean, if this equation comes together, and we were talking about the incentives for the developed countries.
Yeah, I think the most promising path for the less developed or the developing countries to go through is to empower young people and to encourage more and more startups engaging in solving problems related to the climate change and other any challenges, because the engaging startups, building up a business model between these startups and the governments is also adding value to the national economy for all developing countries, and also will take us one step ahead of owning technology. And owning technology is number one aim for any country now. All countries are competing to own technology. This is the era of owning technology.
Yeah.
Who owns the technology owns everything. That's why we need to be there and to be players in this regard.
Yeah.
If we are talking about advanced technology, high technology, we need to collaborate with advanced economies or the developed countries to have technology transfer, so they can share the profits and they can share the know-how. know-how.
Yeah.
For the less, the medium and low technologies, we have to develop it on our own. And we need to depend on startups, young people, to adopt these technologies and integrate it. And in order to have successful startups, we need the engagement of government.
Yeah.
To allow more opportunities for startups, for entrepreneurs, funding for ideas, helping entrepreneurs to go from idea to implementation and commercialization in all sectors.
Yes. Mentioning the young, I guess they are going to play a very important role, especially vis-a-vis the transfer of technology.
Yes.
Because their mindset is fully prepared to receive info, even more than our generations. I mean, our sons and daughters are much more clever. How can we utilize this potential of the youth and giving them opportunities?
Yeah, I think we have to be more demand-driven, so we can monitor what we need. In terms of the national priorities, what we call the national priorities, what we need. We have national priorities for agriculture.
Yeah.
We have national priority for manufacturing.
Yes.
We have national priority for improving services, citizen services. So these areas can be offered or presented to as a challenge to our entrepreneurs, our university graduates, our young youth, so they can develop ideas and develop solutions to overcome these challenges and add value.
Yeah.
And believe me, we have so many people and so many great ideas from the young youth. I'm honored to have in this arena and working with young youth, working with startups and establishing startups, and they have patience and they have persistence and they have the knowledge to build their own startups in different sectors, and they are serving a lot of industries. The government role is to give them incentives in terms of taxes, in terms of facilities, in terms of technical support, in the priority, or national priorities.
Yeah. What were the brilliant ideas that came across from the young, and that you were really saying like chapeau?
Yeah. A lot of ideas. We have, for example, people who are producing stations, smart stations for the electric cars. We know.
So reducing emissions.
Exactly.
Then,
and they are producing chargers in Egypt. Manufacturing the chargers for electric cars in Egypt.
The young themselves.
Yes. And also we have startups who have robots who to work in cleaning the shores and the sea and the river.
The coastlines.
Exactly. And they have very efficient robots, and they have success stories, and they are very young. And by the way, we have very talented people who who are on the top line in the world in terms of artificial intelligence, for example. People who are developing solutions for video analytics and how to make use of information in videos and make it available to decision makers, etc. Artificial intelligence in agriculture, robotics in energy saving and wind maintenance and predictive maintenance.
Yeah.
This is a very it's a hot topic, and it is growing. It is not only in Egypt, but it is an export industry.
Yeah.
Because startups who succeed in Egypt and they have reference and they have well-established product, they will be able to export, and this is something that we are all aiming for, to have more exports for the Egyptian economy. I see innovations and technology is our gold mine And I think can turn the Egyptian economy into an heavily exporting economy if we allow more opportunities for these entrepreneurs, and we focus more on training, educating young people, and encouraging, and this is critical, to encourage young people to join computer science and join colleges related to technology, etc. This is important, and the government is opening its door to all kinds of training and education in that regard. And what we need to do is to have the self-drive to go into this path and create our knowledge and our maybe startups if we can.
Yes, definitely. Well, climate action should not be shortened to emissions reductions, but it should also include adapting to climate change, dealing with issues and any sort of losses or damages, adopting the appropriate technology for all climate action aspects. Concerning adopting the appropriate technologies, what sort of technologies that could facilitate our lives and that the layman in the street, could resort to in order to fight climate change?
One obvious example for this case is sorting technologies, because if we are talking about recycling, we are all encouraged to recycle, and one aspect of the recycling is to have sorting of materials. What to put,
where to put here or there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This can be easily converted into a challenge where digital technology can solve this problem by using robotics, by using interactive services in streets. We can encourage recycling very much, and this, if we are talking about ideas like this, it is easy to implement, and this is not advanced technologies. We are not talking about advanced technology that will need millions of dollars to have
just
R&D.
needs awareness, maybe, and definitely the media also can play a very important role in that respect.
Yeah. We in digital technology or in digital transformation, especially for developing countries, we are talking more about the appropriate technology, not the latest technology. Because latest technology could mean more cost, more expensive tools, more maybe it needs more digital skills from people. We need to have the most important or the most appropriate technology for our use to create outcome, to create return we are looking for. This is very important in conducting or tackling any digital transformation project. And that's why I would say that digital transformation definition, we have so many definitions. But one of the most important definition is we are using digital technology to solve a problem with the appropriate technology, not the latest technology, to create value. And creating value is critical in a digital transformation project.
Yes. COP27 is focusing on providing solutions that make climate action help solving the community problems and crises. Definitely building resilience is very important, building resilience through technology. And we're also talking, Professor, about the nature-based solutions. And this is also through a sense of awareness and a message that people should know.
Yeah, we should use also technology, the social media, and all the channels to make people more aware of the environmental issues. On the other hand, concerning resilience, for example, we are talking about that currently worldwide we are not yet achieving what we are aiming for in terms of climate change. So we will be expecting problems, risks ahead of us. That's why we need more resilient systems, overcoming or anticipating issues and building up scenarios to deal with the impact of climate change.
Yes.
We need to work on these systems, monitoring systems, predictive systems, and technology is playing the greater role in this area using artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, remote sensing, satellite imaging. All these technologies can be combined to achieve this resilience goal.
Definitely. Well, we're planning definitely green, while Egypt plans to issue its green hydrogen national strategy during COP27. The recent months have seen different initial agreements and memoranda of understanding in that respect to produce green hydrogen. We have been using also digitalization in order to promote and to market those important projects. Digitalization, and you're working in the field, has been also a very good venue and a pool if we're talking about marketing Egypt's smart cities.
Yeah.
And what a golden opportunity to market the country globally through COP27. How do you see that?
I think we have a great opportunity to market Egypt as a hub for technology and a hub for application of the digital transformation, serving the climate change issues and fighting the climate change. Having said that, we are now witnessing what we call, we have hundreds of startups becoming established every day in Egypt. Okay, and they are serving a lot of cases and a lot of in the area of healthcare, in the area of the education, transportation, etc. I think if we can make some sort of a priority list for our country in terms of the climate change solutions, and we retarget these minds to have solutions serving the current market and the current need of the Egyptian market, we can have a role model in the region for applying digital technologies to fight the climate change, and giving the startups a chance to present in the COP27, and I know they will have this chance.
There is also Youth Day.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We're going to have a great opportunity for ideas and presenting ideas.
And the Smart Green Projects Initiative will be presenting a lot of examples from startups and people who have ideas and innovative solutions to fight the climate change issues. And I think if we combine the effort of startups, government, and with marketing, and also the involvement, or we take the opportunity of having the COP27 here, all these factors will make us, or will put Egypt as a hub for using digital transformation for climate change, and this will bring a lot of returns in terms of an economic impact. We are talking about economic impact and exports. And this is very important to the Egyptian context.
Yes. COP27 for facilitating the info concerning the conference, its recommendations later, also the different ideas that are presented during this important gathering and more. There is an application to facilitate all that. How can we prepare the human capital? Because, as you know, Egypt invests in the people, as we were speaking investing in the human potential. How can we prepare the people and the human capital for climate action? What should we do?
I think we should have a well-studied marketing campaign for targeting youth and targeting people who are using the social media. Because social media is a lot of fuss and a lot of it is in all on any phone. So it is easy to reach out to people through the social media than any other media. So we have to develop marketing strategies to reach out to youth and to teach them about the green issues, the scenarios, why climate change is important, why we have COP27 here, what we can gain from the COP27,
what sort of messages do we need to
their role
provide?
And what they can do to help the green economy and the green initiatives. And this is important dimension that will help us to present Egypt in a glorious way to the world.
Yes, definitely. Well, talking COP27 could take hours, especially that it is the top-notch story and the top-notch headline. Well, less than a week, we are going to be following COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. That important event that will attract attention definitely to the mother of the world. We're really honored to have with us tonight Dr. Mohamed Khollef, Innovation and Digital Transformation Consultant, highlighting more concerning the role of technology in fighting climate change. Thank you so much, Dr. Khollef, for coming to Nile TV tonight. And I thank you, dear viewers, for being with us, for joining us tonight, and we're looking forward to meeting you. And Nile TV International is going to bring you, will be at the heart of COP27. We'll bring you all the beats over there with the sessions, with the ideas, with the different, of course, the variety of personnel, the top-notch personalities attending, all through the eyes of our correspondents present on the ground at COP27. Looking forward to a great event that is going to be memorable for Egypt and the whole world, and going together from vision to implementation, because it's high time for action. I'm Taghreed Hussein, thanking you all for watching, and thank you for being with us.